everybody. It's your man James, Mr. Squinch Treasures, back again with some more video action for you. Going to do another one of my little comic discussions here called Why It's Great, where I take an issue from my vast collection of back issues and dig it out and tell you why I think it's awesome and why you should check it out for yourself. I thought I'd try to squeeze one more in here before the end of the month, so just a little something, trying to keep the content rolling around here. So I thank you all for joining me today. I hope you get something out of this. And before we go any further, I want to say just if you like what you hear here, make sure to hit the like to help those algorithms. That's very much appreciated. Also, if you got any comments on the book we're going to talk about, make sure to drop them down there below. I love hearing what you guys got to say. I like to hear your input. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please do, so that you don't miss out on all this great content I'm producing right now. So you'll be left behind. So just give a little subscribe there, and share out some links to people, and let others get in on the fun too, because hey, we don't want to keep it all to ourselves, right? But anyway, today we're going to go back to 1987, and we're going to dig into the Silver Surfer, Volume 3, issue number 2. That's going to be the one we talk about today. So I'm always up for talking some classic comics here. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take me off of here, because we don't need no need to see me, and then we'll bring up our book here. And here we are, Silver Surfer number 2. This is from the '87 series, when the Surfer was finally freed from his exile on Earth, and this book really starts to delve into the more cosmic side of the Marvel universe in a way that no other series at the time was really doing. So I really enjoy it for that aspect. And again, I love Marshall Rogers' work. He is one of the finest draftsmen comics has ever seen. If we take a look at this cover here, I mean, just what I love about it is, look at the Surfer. I mean, you can tell he's a slender guy, but and in shape, but it's got, like, I don't know, there's just something about the way Marshall Rogers drew the Surfer. It was just so, I don't know the word to use, but like he gets the tone right, where the Surfer looks like just basically a human being who's been dipped in silver. And and he always did great poses, like you can see right here on this, with the leaning, like the way you would like on a surfboard when you're watching actual live surfers. He always seemed to get those great poses with the Silver Surfer. And in this issue, he returns to his homeworld of Zenn-La and to Shalabal, his one true love. So let's get right on into it here. Now, as you've noticed, I've always said, and I've said this many times and you've heard it, is when you're starting out a story in superheroes, you should always use a lot of action to sort of set the tone, because it's supposed to be an adventure story. Basically that's what superheroes are. They come out of the 1920 and 30 pulp novels, and so it's action oriented. But there are exceptions, and to me, Silver Surfer is one of those exceptions to this. We're going to read this right here. 500 million miles from Earth, across the Milky Way, the constellation Cygnus. To the right, the gaseous bubbles of stars that burst 6,000 years ago still burn across a million miles. To the left, the first black hole ever discovered by Earth revolves around its visible twin, spewing X-rays into the void, spherical void. And you see there's the Surfer. I'm home. And so, just we get this great scene again. Like I said, look at those great poses that Marshall Rogers does with the Surfer. Between the major markers shines a steely bright star, Deneb. Around that star spins 37 planets with their 93 moons. The fourth planet from Deneb is Zenn-La. Nornrad was born here, grew to manhood here. And sacrificed himself to become the Silver Surfer. So they're basically giving the history of the character. As he's returning home, and you see him, he comes swooping in, and there it is. The moment that anyone who had known the character for a long time was been waiting for, the reunion of him and Shalabal, right there. I mean, I love the whole her she's so taken aback and a jerk that her little head covering there comes off. I think that's kind of funny, and you just see there it is, you know, free at long last. I've earned Galactus' pardon, free to return to you. So this is like a very joyous thing. I mean, again, and just look at those expressions here. It's beautiful, a beautiful moment. And they begin to express their feelings, and then all of a sudden a guy comes in here, take your hands off her, traitor, and he goes, you broke your vow to Galactus, the vow to serve him in exchange for sparing our world. He only imprisoned you, but he returned to decimate us. We had the technology to evacuate everyone before the devourer struck, but not to regenerate a world left smoke and slag. Zenla would be nothing but a memory. So now he's coming back home, but he's seeing that what he did way back when he went against Galactus, for sparing his world by serving him when he refused to serve him, there was a price to be paid, and the surfers are learning of this. But as we all learn, there's much more to this than meets the eye, because in the previous volume, in volume 2, a Silver Surfer one shot, the surfer, Mephisto used Shallot Ball to try to get to the surfer. It failed, but in the end, Shallot Ball was sent back to Zenla, and before Surfer imparted some of his own cosmic power to her, which has allowed her to regrow the planet. Wherever she steps, it says here, it was he who imbued the Empress with a fraction of his power cosmic to undo the damage done to our world. And if and when Her Highness returned to us, that power caused life to spring from the barren ground wherever she set her foot. It's due to the one who's earned your gratitude, not your scorn. So someone schools the guy, hey, the reason Zenla is a lush planet again is because the surfer imparted some of his power to her so that she could bring their planet back. And so, the guy apologizes and it's over there. And then the surfer, does a little politicking in a way, he's people of Zenla. I only did what any son of our world would do. It's not enough. It's enough, more than enough, for me to simply walk among you once more. For me to be home with the woman I love. It has been a long journey from the day Galactus first appeared, and I thought to turn him away from us. But the journey is done. The Voyager is home, and all he wants is to put those days behind him. So let us unite under Empress Shalabal and look only toward the future to rebuild our glorious heritage together. So it's almost like playing a political thing here. I like that. And then the surfer wants to actually spend some time with her, but she kind of corrects me with, "I won't be free until this evening." And I mean, I didn't know you were coming. Now, did I? Of course not. I understand. I shall see you this evening. See, right here. So right now we get the first inklings of things aren't exactly what he was hoping for. He was hoping for a reunion with her, and that's not going to happen because of her responsibilities as Empress. So the surfer sets off. Everything is different. The inordinate technological metropolis I once reviled for its passionless populace, has become a series of clearings in the wood cut out by heroic pioneers. Here indeed is the spot where I first drew breath. So he goes back to the spot where his home was, and he brings it back. See, all shall be as it was. And again, look at the expression on his face here. He's my memories have not dimmed at all. This is the well I fell in when I was 7. And there's the vid room in which I watched the first scenes of Galactus approach. Everything is as it was. It is good to be home. And so, he's just reveling in the euphoric moment of this all. He's back on his home world. He's back with the woman he loves. He's just recreated his home. He feels like, after this long journey, he's finally reached the place he wants to be. Although he does wonder what it is that Shalabal had was so important. And here we see what that is. She's having a meeting with the Skrulls. and they come in there asking her, uh, there's been upheaval in the scroll world because of Galactus destroying the throne world of the Skrulls, and so now their entire empire is in disarray because you have a whole bunch of basically warlords trying to say I'm the new emperor, and this guy is one of the guys who represents one of them, and he goes he wishes to establish peace in this quadrant and hopes to call you his friend Shalabal. And she goes, we understand the need for friends in the wake of a catastrophe, Car, but this is not the time for Zenla to turn his attentions to off-world affairs. And he goes, on the contrary, Majesty, if a world refuses to ally itself with the Emperor now, Kylor may have no choice but to protect himself. And so, a little implied threat there that if you're not with us, you're against us, and if you're against us, you'll pay. And so she just tells him, that yeah, you can make those threats, but we also have something to protect us, our returned son, the Silver Surfer. And so he gives his little lackey here a signal, and the lackey heads off. As you can see, he talks about the reason for all this is because the Skrulls have lost their shape changing ability, and they fear that when that knowledge becomes known, that their age old enemy, the Kree, will reignite the war that was temporarily ceased between them. And so, like, they're trying to eliminate as many threats as possible, which would include the Silver Surfer. And as we can see here, oh, look at this guy! Doesn't he look familiar? It turns out, see, and it is indeed fortunate that we use our shape-shifting power to its fullest in its time, infiltrating every world we encountered, so that we Skrulls still blend in anywhere. And you can see this guy is basically a Skrull agent who had taken on the look of a Zenlavian before the bomb that cost them, the genetic bomb that cost them their ability to change back. So he's stuck in that form. Meanwhile, we come back to the Surfer, and this is where you get some of the meat of the story here. He goes, I had grown accustomed to the lingering of twilight of Earth. Well, it is understandable. I lived there a long while. I lived there. And whatever else that mad race of man may be, they are alive. They're heroes, they're villains, their passions, their sorrows, their triumphs. It will take getting used to this new world. It is not the Zenla I left, not the Zenla I longed for all those years. Why, I know Earth better than I know this world. I know Earth better than I know Shalabal. And again, the expressiveness. Look at this. I like this. I like this shot right here. The look on his face, and then the reflectiveness of the night sky on him. Sort of hinting to you something that you'll see a little later in the film. In the book, this is what they call foreshadowing. This panel right here, but you can see here, after the initial euphoria of returning home, he's starting to see that things aren't what he thought they were going to be at such a homecoming. And of course, then the Skrull attacks. And I love this. I love this too. You can see here, again, the expressiveness in Marshall Rogers' style. But I like how they made the eyes red. To indicate the anger. Without him, blasting or anything, you can tell the anger just with the redness in the eyes. That's a pretty sweet thing. I like that little trick they use there. So he tries it again and again. I love this bit right here. I hear, I fly. My silver skin is impenetrable. Your weapon is a product of Skrull science, but I am the Silver Surfer. And just one simple little minor blast, and he takes them down like they're nothing. So then the Surfer demands some answers, about why you're trying to kill me, because I know you've lost your shape-changing abilities. How did you know that? Champion told me after I bested him. I knew it. No one can trust an elder. He goes, but understand me, Zenlavian. We are the oldest interstellar empire. We will not go down without a fight. So you've rekindled the Kree-Skrull war. We must destroy them before they destroy us. So you see, so this whole thing is like it's a war that's brewing because of this knowledge that the Skrulls don't want others to learn, but they know that they will. And so they're trying to preemptively take out people and things that will be, a danger to them now that they can no longer change shape. And so the Surfer gathers them up and they go to see Shalabal. And she tells him, I cannot and will not allow Zenla to be drawn into your interstellar madness. And he goes, if I may, Majesty, you may have no choice. The war will come, even if we wished to avoid it, which we cannot in our condition. It will begin on the day the Kree learn our secret. A day you now have a day you now have the power to hasten. The Kree will want your world as badly as we do. And then the server base says, yeah, well, they can try and they'll fail just like you because I'll make sure of that. You know, I do not propose to alert the Kree to your plight, but when they do find out, I'll tell them exactly what I'm telling you now. Any damage done to this world will turn me against the side responsible. So he's saying, if you want me to stay out of this, if you don't want me to be a thorn in your side, leave my world alone. And so he basically says, all right, we got it. We're out of here. And so he's dismissed. And then, the surfer, a little perturbed at all this, she goes, she thanks him for saving her. The universe has grown accustomed to a captive surfer, one who had to govern his powers to avoid atomizing the world within the barrier. If they remembered me in my free state, they'd never have attempted such treachery. So you see, he's seeing that, again, as he was trapped on Earth, so many things have changed, and while he now has returned home, all these changes show just how far removed he is from everything that was going on in the larger universe at the time and on his home planet. But he quickly comes back to her, saying that she was fearless. They kiss, and then he basically proposes to her. The time of waiting is done. Let us be married. And right here, I cannot marry you. And this is the real heart of the story right here in these next couple pages. He doesn't understand. And she goes, I love you, but I'm empress now. I did not seek the honor. It was thrust upon me by you at first, and then by our people. But I have accepted it and agreed to lead our people out of their travail. Rebuilding our world consumes every moment now. I have no time to devote to a personal life. And he's saying, but I want to be here with you. I want to work with you. We'll do this together. And she goes, Norrin, do you remember what you said to me so often in the days before Galactus came? Man was meant to strive, to yearn. Those to whom no distant horizons beckon, for whom no challenges remain, though they have inherited a universe, they possess only empty sand. And she tells him, that's where we are now as a people. She goes, I didn't understand it then, but I do now. More people, we now have challenges on this world, and we have to be the ones to fix them. We have to be the ones to address them. We can't let someone else, even one of our own, solve all our problems, because otherwise, what's there for us to do? We're a people without a cause. We're beings without a reason to be. And so, she tells him, we have tasted the danger and we are better for it. Those who have survived Galactus inherited only empty sand, but the horizons beckon us once more. So you see, she's telling him, we need this. We need to be able to solve our own problems, to rebuild our world ourselves. We can't let you or anyone else do that for us. And the surfer, again, this is all just a shock to him. He goes, you're saying if I were to rebuild Zenla as is within my power to do, I would take from the people the very challenges I sought for them. And she goes, such is my judgment as empress. And so he then says, so there's no, she says, you have no room for me here as citizen or as lover, and all because of your rank. And he goes, well, I can remove that by, and he's threatened to take her power away that he gave her, but no, he won't do it. He can't. And then she tells him she still expects him, and I still must ask that you honor your pledge to protect us from this Kree Skrull war. So he is, she's saying, even though I cannot give you what you want, the relationship and, the world that you want and the way you want it, the fact that I cannot give you anything that you have desired, I still expect you to fulfill your obligations to us. And he goes, yes, of course. I am ever the soul of honor. And I love, again, the expressiveness. Look at that face. He's almost like he's being smarmy about it. Like, of course. And so he goes to leave, and she goes, I want you to stay, to wait in time. He goes, time passes slowly for a man who waits. You should know that, Majesty. And he takes off. and he removes his home, but leaves a marker. Here was born Nornrad, a son of Zenla, and look at his face. No words, just image, and you know exactly what he's feeling. And then he changes it. This is a symbol for how he is accepting the world that he knew. All that he wished for when he was trapped on Earth is gone, and this is his acceptance of the reality of what the universe is for him now. And so he takes off again. Again, those great images. The surfer poses by Marshall Rogers, and then we end, as you can see, with what they said at the beginning. That same little soliloquy of like what the space he is in is about, and then space. Home. His home is no longer Zenla; it is the stars. This is the stuff that I always liked about Steve Englehart's work. You saw the soap opera stuff with him and Shala Ball, and then some of the political intrigue with the Skrulls, but he really gets to the heart of a character. And for a character like the Surfer, it's all about him. For all these years was about him wanting to get off Earth and get back home. That was his goal. I got to get out of here and get back to my planet, to where I belong. And what he found out is as his time away is shown, is the world changed without him. And now there's no longer a place for him there. And that what he longed for is already gone. As Thomas Wolfe's book so perfectly states, you can't go home again. And that's what the Surfer learns in this issue, which pretty much sets up everything that happens in the series, for the rest of Englehart's run. Is the Surfer having to find his way in this new universe that he is now a part of, that he was kept out of, was unknowing of, because he was trapped on Earth, and now he has to face all of this, a whole new universe of possibilities and everything else that he has no anticipation for. He had waited so long to be free, and then when he finally got his freedom, everything had changed, and now he has to change along with it. Just a very beautiful story. And I just thought there wasn't a whole lot of action in this issue. It's all character stuff. It's all internal monologues and emotional moments. The reunion. You have the reunion, which in the end gives way to heartbreak. This is the stuff that again, this is the kind of stuff you don't see in the modern stuff. You don't see them creating characters with this kind of depth, with this kind of sophistication. And this is what is missing in modern comics, is to be able to do this. A simple thing of a guy coming home, like a guy who was at war, or a guy who had to leave for a while, and then he comes back and everything has changed. And what he had longed for, he knows he can never have. These are like touchstones that we all can understand and sympathize with. And it's what's made the Surfer such a great character, where you could sympathize with so many of his things. His longing to be home, and then this. Now he can't. Now we know that he can't go home, and he must find a new home, a new place for himself, a new place for him to be. Where just as she told him, our people need the challenges so that they can grow and become more than they are, and to have have something that's worth having. He now sees he must do the same. He must give up all those things he had wanted. The dreams he had, they're gone. And now he must find something else, another reason, a new challenge. And it's just really great stuff. I mean, this is got such depth and such I don't know, emotion in this work. I mean, I don't think people properly respected exactly how great this stuff was back in the day. I mean, I know I certainly did. When I was younger reading this stuff, I mean, I got the story, but I don't think I quite got the emotion behind it as much as I do now. Maybe that comes with age. I don't know, but yeah, this is great stuff. I mean, like I said, it's not a very action oriented issue. I mean, you got a couple of shots here. These 2 pages here is about all the action you get in the entire issue. A couple of shots from a laser gun and then a flash from the surfer, and the battle is over. But this story wasn't about showing how powerful the surfer is or fighting some evil menace. It's about dealing with your own your own place in the world and where you are, and how sometimes what you may want, you just can't have it, and you have to find a way to move on. And again, it's a very important life lesson. Like I said, like the Sharia, this was the foreshadowing. I know Earth better than I know Shalabal. He knows he can. Right here he's starting to understand and come to the fact of what he comes to later is, there's no place for me here anymore. They've moved on, and now I must do the same. Like I said, just great stuff. It's a really beautiful story, and the artwork by Marshall Rogers. I mean, even like a close up shot of a Skrull's face like this is just absolutely incredible. Joe Rubinstein, great inker. He helped a lot of guys with that Marvel House style, and like I say, he just really there's a clarity and a cleanness in Rogers' work that really works well with someone like Rubinstein. And like I said, and then just those poses that he does with the surfer as he's moving along on his board. These. I often wonder, did Marshall Rogers like look at pictures or read books or watch video of actual surfers, seeing their poses that they do when they're surfing? Because that's what this looks like to me. This is someone who understands the anatomy, not just of the human body, but of how body movement works. Like when you're surfing, you would move in certain ways, you would position yourself and bend and twist in certain ways to get a certain angle. And he does this and makes it look so effortless, when I know it's not. This is not an easy thing to do, but again, just beautiful work by him. Silver Surfer #2, probably going to be a few bucks for you, probably between like a $10 to $20 book, depending on the grade you get. But again, well worth it. It's a great story, lots of great drama, lots of great character interplay, and just extremely beautiful. Like I said, Marshall Rogers to me is my Silver Surfer artist. Some people prefer Buscema, some people prefer Kirby, others still prefer Ron Lim, who came after this. But to me, Marshall Rogers is the Silver Surfer artist. His line work, his draftsmanship, his understanding of anatomy and body positioning for the surfer. I mean, it's just so perfect. And I don't think there's anyone that could do it more justice than that he did. So. And there you go, folks. Silver Surfer #2 from 1987. A classic little story with a little moral in it, a little bit of life lessons, shall we say? So just good stuff. And I can't recommend it highly enough to you guys. If you haven't checked out the series, you definitely should. And like I said, it's this issue in particular is one of the best that Englehart and Rogers did in their all too short run together on the book. So definitely check that one out. So I want to thank you all for joining me today. I'll be back again with some more stuff soon. I've got some more stuff I'm expecting in. Like I said, I have another crowdfunded book that I was just told has shipped, so I should have that shortly. And also I have another package I'm waiting for, so there will definitely be another What's in the Box. So got all that coming up. And after that, also I'm trying to figure out what to do for my 200 subscribers video. So if you guys got any suggestions for that, drop it down there in the comments below. I'd love to hear any ideas you would have, help me celebrate breaking 200 subscribers, which I know doesn't sound like a whole lot, but for me, yeah, that's a whole hell of a lot. And again, drop any other comments you have. What do you think of this issue? What do you think of Rogers' Silver Surfer work? Do you think he's the premier surfer artist like me, or do you think it's somebody else? And let me hear what you think about this stuff, because I always like to hear what you got to say. And once again, I thank you all for joining me today, and I will be back soon with some more stuff. And so until next time, take care.